Volunteers from Manila head to Sorsogon province to assess damages after the aftermath of Typhoon Kammuri. Tzu Chi Foundation is praised by the Ministry of the Interior for their disaster assistance throughout the years. Welcome to DaAi Headlines, I'm Simon Gan. Thank you for joining us. After Typhoon Kammuri hit Sorsogon province severely in early December, Tzu Chi volunteers in Manila went there to assess the damage, and most of the households living along the coastal area were totally destroyed. Let's take a look.
Hit by Typhoon Kammuri, Sorsogon province was devastated severely. Manila Tzu Chi volunteers went to the coast to assess the damage. Glen's home was destroyed by the instantaneous wave and everything is beyond recognition. Her family of 7 temporarily stay in relatives' home.
From there to here is my living room. Then here is a door and there is a bedroom. My bedroom is with the same size as the living room.
Living by the sea, Johnny's home was also completely destroyed. At that time, she brought her 3 children to take refuge in her relative's home. Her husband is a fisherman and they have no savings to rebuild their home. She doesn't know what to do.
Our house was destroyed by huge waves. It's fortunate that I brought some clothes for my mother-in-law to wear. This is what we have now. We sought refuge in my cousin's home. When I returned here, my house was completely ruined.
The borough chief was compiling a list of the affected households. More than 1 week after the disaster, the electricity in the affected area has not been restored. Volunteers copy the list manually and record the situation with their mobile phones, trying to understand what is needed by the affected residents.
At the UN Climate Change Conference, scientists and scholars brought up new technology and science as a solution for global warming. However, these jargons might be too distant for common people. Therefore, there are people who advocate that we combat global warming with religious faiths.
At the UN Climate Change Conference, Indonesia Pavilion and Green Faith have held a seminar named The Power of the Religious Environmental Movement.
Science appeals to our rational brain, but our beliefs are motivated largely by emotion.
Religious community has history. In any religion, every movement, every social movement is usually led by religious groups. So that's why religious group is very important to be part of this movement.
Being the coordinator for Muslims in Green Faith, Nana has a deeper understanding of the religious faith.
This is the message in the Holy Quran that we need many of our religious leaders to take that into a current context so that our people, the Muslims, understand that that is the meaning of the verse, the ayat, that we are not allowed to destroy the earth while we live in this world.
We will heal the world with love.
According to the United Nations Environment Program, religious faith motivates 80% of people's action in the world. The vision is to go towards a sustainable world where human rights are respected.
DaAi TV meteorologist Peng Qiming attended the COP25 in Madrid, Spain. In the following report, he brings us his observations of the conference. Let's take a look.
I'm currently in Madrid, Spain, attending the UN Climate Change Conference, or COP25. For the first time, the conference is calling the climate situation a climate emergency. Emergency is a word we use when saying ambulances, and now it is applied to climate change. Why? In the past few years, our carbon emission has not been decreasing. On the contrary, it has been increasing. According to United Nations reports, we need to decrease carbon emission by 7.6% for 10 years. or to control the Earth temperature to increase by 2 degrees Celsius. This is an acceptable climate environment for humans. However, it looks like we are not heading towards this goal. The Earth is facing a critical point. Once we cross the critical point, there will be a lot of disasters. In fact, this is not a problem of the Earth, but a problem of us humans. We should say that the suitable living environment for humans is facing a critical point. Therefore, we need to pay special attention. There is not a complete conclusion in this conference, as the conference is too rushed. Instead, this is really an execution of the details of the 6th chapter of the Paris Agreement. For instance, how do we cut down on carbon emission? Where does the money come from? How does each country define the terms? There are a lot of technical problems. So we don't expect to see great results this time. Despite that, we hope that at COP26 held in England next year will produce firm results. The most important thing is that we raise each country's awareness at this conference. After the United States withdrew from the climate change conference and Paris Agreement, there are a lot of changes. The world is watching and paying attention to this trend, especially trend for justice or the gap between rich and poor created by climate change. Rich people can choose where it is suitable for living. This conflict might worsen. This is also something we're paying attention to. This is DaAi TV meteorologist reporting in Spain.
A big green pen became the focal point at the COP25. What's so special about this pen? Let's take a look.
With nearly 30,000 participants a day, each having 3 meals daily, it is estimated that more than 90,000 pieces of garbage will be produced at the United Nations Climate Change Conference. In view of this, the organizer tried every means to minimize the pollution as much as possible in just 3 weeks of preparation time.
The initiative that the conference has taken is to reduce plastic. So when you actually buy coffee or even orange juice from here, or even a sandwich, it's actually in a biodegradable container. So this is made from plant waste, and so is this. And so is this lid actually. So you think that it's plastic, but it's not. It's actually organic, and it can be thrown just the way you would throw your orange peel or any other food material. It's degradable completely.
The conference organizer also gave a glass bottle to each participant so as to facilitate them to get drinking water repeatedly. There are many water dispensers on site to take care of participants' health.
Yes, because I can use this every day, but even though the biodegradable cups, it takes a long time to make and to degrade, I think it's my step to reduce climate change.
The United Nations Climate Change Conference has received strong support from Madrid Regional Transport Consortium, which provides a free tourist travel pass to every participant to encourage them to use public transport. Tzu Chi volunteers carry along with a large green pen that always causes curiosity to others.
This is a pen?
Yeah, this is a big pen. Yeah, right. Use whatever plastic soft drink that we drink. We throw it into the rubbish bin, but we forgot to recycle it. So what our organization do is that we turn one 7-Up or Sprite plastic bottle, we turn it into the pen.
Tzu Chi volunteers also brought the eco-friendly pen to the venue of the Climate Change Conference, hoping to introduce Tzu Chi's environmental protection concepts to the world.
This creativity was actually come up with a group of volunteers who are in Tzu Chi Foundation involving with recycling projects, and they are 70 years old.
Reducing carbon and plastics, as well as slowing down global warming, are not just slogans, but the lifestyle that every one of us should have.
In Taiwan's early agricultural society, there are many creative handmade toys that entertain children for generations. Follow a report as we look back at these natural toys.
树鸡腿，这是树鸡腿啊，它就是一只公鸡。对，好了，你看，这就是一只鸟。
A few leaves along the side of the road come in handy as Lin Sanyuan in the mountains of Nangang in Taipei City goes back to his home. Even decades later, he still picks up these leaves and makes toys like it's a secret paradise.
我们小时候怎么来玩这个？要剥开，剥成这样。哦，这个就射很远了，看到没有？
Lin Sanyuan has worked for several multinational computer companies. In 2017, he left his role as CEO of Zhonghua Telecom Foundation. He later returned to what he loved to play with as a child. At this underground mall in the Taipei MRT, he has a booth next to the escalator where he works like a street artist here and promotes 30 to 40 kinds of straw crafts.
公鸡对，啊，各种来，
When I was a kid, I didn't have any money to buy toys. The children still had to play. At that time, my parents would use natural things like bamboo leaves to make some toys. I was inspired by this as a little child, and at that time, I would create something out of nothing.
In 1978, Echo magazine published a special issue, recording for the first time 4,500 kinds of children's play and games in Taiwan that were about to disappear. It showed how children use natural things to entertain themselves.
加几个牙签，这就猪，然后你帮它一推，它就会转，叫做猪推磨，最简单了啊，这手艺，但是变化多端。树叶调查的叶片
They were mainly made with leaves,
去做的这个玩意哈。
some of which can be blown like a flute, and some of which can be turned into a boat and float on the water.
Educational experts study that the history of toys can be traced back to BC. At that time, people used natural materials such as clay to make tops, wooden kites, and board games. In the 19th century, teddy bears, Lego, and Barbie dolls appeared, which captured the hearts of children. In the 1980s, Nintendo developed the handheld game console, which opened the door for 3C games.
In the old days, leaves or stones may be used as toys. But in this age, children will use some 3D products, such as mobile phones or tablets, as toys.
The development of toys ranges from natural materials to the creation of technological toys by human beings. But what is the significance of the existence of toys?
Board games or chess toys can help with their cognitive development and helping understand rules.
All kinds of games from ancient to modern are also important media for children to learn social interaction.
它加了什么？加了玉米哦，还有加其他的吗？有加蛋吗？可是会烫哦。会烫哦。我跟你一起想它。哦，看起来好好喝哦。
If there are only two people without toys, then toys can be a very important medium. Suitable toys can help more children develop their imagination and help them improve their cognitive level.
The form of toys may change, but in fact, allowing children to develop appropriately from playing with toys is an ancient value we share. It can even embody the spirit of creativity.
Children will say that teachers didn't do it right. Then they tie a knot on the top and say that they make a phoenix or peacock. The children use their own creativity. I was just their inspirations.
Toys inevitably evolve with time, but people inherit the wisdom of life and lead the next generation through innovation, which can be inspired by valuing toys.
Firefighters always strive to save lives as quickly as possible. The Ministry of Interior specially hosted a ceremony to publicly praise behind-the-scenes heroes. 20 people from different fields were awarded. Tzu Chi Foundation was also praised for their disaster assistance.
Firefighters assist in the rescue without taking rest. In the Hualien earthquake, they have rescued people in the collapsed Tongshui Hotel and Yunchui building. Even there were continued aftershocks, they still strove to enter the scene. Li Fuchuan was awarded the merit of search and rescue personnel.
When there is a task, we try to accomplish it instead of rejecting it. In fact, you have no choice at all because the fire department is a team. Today I stand up here, but actually this does not mean that I'm greater than others.
Apart from government authorities, organizations in the community have repeatedly assisted in large-scale disaster prevention exercises. Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized quickly to provide necessary equipment and vegetarian meals. They also received praise in the award ceremony.
Volunteers from different places and our disaster prevention team members plan together while incorporating our compassionate technology and all disaster prevention concepts in the exercises. Whereas daily, we hope volunteers will integrate it with the community.
Disaster relief actually needs public and private sectors to work together. Because there are many professional disaster relief groups in the community, by incorporating these forces together, disaster relief in Taiwan would be better.
The anonymous heroes in search and rescue have been extended to individuals, groups, and private units. Each of them should have their own heroic stories of rescue.
In Malaysia, Tzu Chi National Environmental Protection Camp has been held at Batu Pahat. During the 2-day camp, the participants visited the recycling stations in different communities. Let's take a look.
Unlike the classes in the past, Tzu Chi Environmental Protection Camp in Malaysia is leading its participants to visit different recycling stations.
Our main goal is for our recycling leaders to work together. We hope every recycling volunteer can be someone who passes on the Dharma teachings. If we bring everyone to a lecture hall that is outside classrooms, this kind of learning is real and down to earth.
Setting up recycling stations in fishing villages was very difficult. Fortunately, they have become role models.
In the past, garbage floated on the water. People would just throw their garbage into the ocean. Since Tzu Chi helped us to process the garbage in this way, everyone is more determined to make a difference. We inspire them village by village.
We found that it was not that simple during the past 16 years because it is a fishing village and their garbage is much dirtier than that created by us. Recycling must be practiced when one is young.
In Malacca, the volunteers listen to morning Dharma teachings and share their thoughts. They also visit recycling stations in different communities, learning much.
With the same principle, we can help other people understand that environmental protection takes actions rather than just slogans. We also make some products to display so as to benefit more people.
During the 2-day cultivation event, the participants witnessed how city volunteers practice recycling in communities and inspire the local residents.
On the West Coast, the U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters hosted a gratitude event to celebrate 30 years of Tzu Chi in the United States. Many special guests from different religious organizations and service groups also attended to help celebrate the event. Let's take a look.
To help celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Tzu Chi Foundation in the United States, it was all hands on deck.
2019 is the 30th anniversary of Tzu Chi in the United States, so we have many large-scale events planned. And in our resources, in our volunteers, we have had to overcome the obstacles as it comes up. Although it's a challenge, it's one that we have accepted, and we're doing our best to complete these events.
To help the English-speaking volunteers and guests to fully enjoy the camp and banquet during this 2-day event, a total of 10 translators helped to do real-time translations.
When they truly feel Tzu Chi's spirit, they will be moved to want to get to know the organization and take part in Tzu Chi because it is a good organization.
Many of the organizations who have longed to work with Tzu Chi came to the banquet to say a few words. And for those who couldn't make it personally, they sent a pre-recorded video expressing their well wishes.
Here I want to thank Master Zheng Yan for motivating everyone's compassion to give.
Fantastic partnership and collaboration that the Catholic Church enjoys with Tzu Chi Foundation here in Los Angeles. May God grant you another 30 years at least working together with us in this city. Thank you very much.
I get to see disasters all the time, but really what makes an impact is the level of service people come together to help people recover after disasters. The Tzu Chi Foundation exemplifies service to others.
I express my personal gratitude to all of the members of the Tzu Chi Foundation who selflessly give of themselves every day that they live.
And I think that what Buddhist Tzu Chi does is precisely that. It helps to provide support to communities in need, to live and to love, and to be able to stand and serve and continue to serve one another.
Through a live stream, Hualien's Jing Sebo watched as the U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers made a vow to stay firm on their path with the symbolic gesture of pulling the string together. Establishing a firm foundation for the past 30 years, Tzu Chi volunteers in the U.S. vow to continue to sustain and develop Tzu Chi in line with the Master's mission.
In the United States, the deadly campfire took place in Northern California in 2018. In its aftermath, Tzu Chi not only provided short-term assistance, but also planned long-term recovery plans. Here's more.
Hard to say what these trees mean to me. When I can taste
fire destroyed everything that I had physically, like all my physical possessions, but I still had my music inside.
My heart always goes home to paradise.
I had a feeling that the song that I wrote was going to mean a lot to people, and you know, when I posted it for the first time after I first wrote it and put it on Facebook, and I woke up the next day and it had 10,000 views.
I was actually fortunate to have left town at 6 a.m. on November 8th. As soon as I got here, I went to the Disaster Recovery Center, and to help the survivors, we had to volunteer with an organization. So I saw a Buddhist, and I was like, oh, Buddhist, great. I've practiced Buddhism for 15 years. I was like, perfect, my people. Then I was there every day for the next month. And that was how I met Tzu Chi. They were selflessly working ceaselessly to relieve the suffering of all the people that walk through their doors. And nowhere else was I really getting that feeling. And that's why I knew they were my people, because I have that same determination. And they asked if I could be a disaster case manager in the long-term recovery group.
After 1 month of this disaster, there's a long-term recovery group established. These survivors do not know what are available for them. They do not know there are actually a lot of resources available.
She wanted to know how I was doing. You know, I was kind of telling my story and talking about the fire. I lost my job. I got full custody of my kids. Now I'm fighting another custody battle. Bobby just very quickly was like, that's a lot. That's a lot to go through.
Can I come over? Can I come over, give you a hug?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Right now we understand that he needs a job. So we are exploring possibilities of finding a job for him, either internally or externally to Tzu Chi.
Being a survivor myself, I can instantly know what this person is going through and what some of the things already are that they might need in terms of housing and a job and support. People are still in a lot of need for long-term relief, and my goal is just to continue helping them as much as I can and finding my own healing in the process. That's what helps me, is just helping others.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia gathered to prepare the red envelopes of blessing and wisdom for the upcoming year-end blessing ceremony. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.